A few years ago, the concept of the practical rifle was introduced. These rifles are typically characterized by their lightweight, quick-handling design and low-powered optics, often in the form of bolt-action hunting rifles. While inspired by Jeff Cooper's Scout rifle, the practical rifle offers more flexibility, with its definition shaped by the individual needs and circumstances of the user rather than a rigid set of specifications. Over time, there has been considerable interest in revisiting this topic. Although the idea of rapidly handling a bolt-action rifle is fascinating, there's little more to add to the conversation. The practical rifle concept encourages us to consider these rifles through the lens of self-defense or long-term survival. While this perspective is thought-provoking, it doesn't always translate into something practical for the majority of people in their day-to-day lives. If the term practical rifle were taken literally, it would lead to something more along the lines of what is referred to here as the backyard sniper rifle. This rifle is a suppressed .22 caliber bolt action used primarily for pest control. With a vegetable garden and chickens to tend to, small mammals often become a problem, attempting to eat the crops and eggs. In such cases, shooting them becomes the most effective solution. This backyard sniper rifle has proven valuable over time, assisting with the removal of pests like rats, rabbits, chipmunks, and raccoons. Living in a county neighborhood with adequate space between houses, it is both safe and legal to use firearms. However, given the proximity of neighbors, it's always done as quietly as possible. Few firearms are as quiet as a suppressed .22 bolt-action rifle, making it the perfect choice for situations requiring discretion. Of course, there are carry guns and home defense firearms, which, fortunately, have never had to be used for their intended purpose. Hunting is something done only occasionally, not enough to truly identify as a hunter. This .22 rifle is the only firearm that is regularly used for purposes beyond paper and steel targets. In that sense, it qualifies as a true practical rifle. Let's take a closer look at the setup, followed by an explanation of why this particular configuration was chosen. The rifle is a Savage Mark II FVSR, chambered in .22 long rifle. The factory stock was swapped out for a Boyd's wood stock, paired with a trigger guard and magazine plate from Dovetail Installation Products. The optic is a Vortex Diamondback 27x35 rimfire scope. For sound suppression, a silencer Co-Sparrow suppressor is used. A Blackhawk swivel stud to Picatinny adapter is installed on the forend to mount a Streamlight Tactical Light Rail 1HL flashlight. Lastly, a sling from Tab Gear is attached. Now, some may question why such a setup is necessary to hunt rabbits in the backyard. After all, an old tube-fed .22 rifle from Sears would accomplish the same task. On the other hand, those from the precision rifle community might dismiss it as a cheap, low-quality firearm. Both views are understandable, but they don't bother me. This setup wasn't built for anyone else. It was configured to serve a specific practical purpose while also allowing some room for experimentation and fun. The Savage Mark II series has been around for many years, with several variants available. The FV suppressed rifle version includes a heavy-fluted 16-inch barrel, a threaded muzzle, a Picatinny rail, and a larger bolt handle designed to resemble a tactical bolt-action rifle. While the tactical look isn't particularly appealing, the larger bolt handle is a useful feature. The heavy barrel, however, isn't something that's particularly preferred. This rifle was purchased 9 years ago when it was one of the few .22 rifles on the market with a threaded muzzle right from the factory. Since then, suppressors have grown in popularity, and there are now far more options for suppressor-ready .22 rifles than when this one was bought in 2013. If this rifle were to be selected again today, it might still be a viable option, though other models could also be considered. Priced around $260, it offers a quiet, accurate shooting experience. However, the factory stock, made of lightweight hollow plastic, was a significant drawback. While the lightweight helped with portability, it also made the rifle feel front-heavy, and the comb height wasn't sufficient for proper scope use. As a result, the stock was replaced with a Boyd's Pro Varmint model. The stock was purchased unfinished, requiring staining and finishing. The length of pole was modified to 12.5 inches for a better fit. Initially, the stock was a great value at $80 in 2013, but prices have since increased to $180. Additionally, a separate trigger guard and magazine plate were necessary, costing another $46, as the original parts didn't fit. With these additional costs, for the same price, a slightly higher quality .22 rifle could have been chosen without needing stock upgrades. Despite these modifications, the new stock significantly improves the rifle's balance and feel. While adding weight, it enhances the overall shooting experience, making the rifle feel much less like a budget model. The Savage Mark II is compatible with detachable magazines holding either 5 or 10 rounds. The 10-round mags are commonly used at the range, while the 5-round mag is preferred for home use due to its lower profile, making the rifle easier to carry and shoot. The Vortex Diamondback 2-7x35 scope is a solid option for rimfire rifles. The upgrade to this scope was made last year, replacing an older Burris 2-7x35 scope with a subpar eye box. While 2-7 power scopes are becoming less common, they provide a practical magnification range. These scopes tend to be lighter and smaller than 3-9 by models, and more affordable compared to 1-6 by or 1-8 by scopes. While the Diamondback's glass quality isn't exceptional, it serves its purpose effectively. It ensures that small targets at 25 to 50 yards, like a rat's head, are accurately identified, rather than mistaking them for a rock or tree stump. The Picatinny Rail and Streamlight TLR-1 are more recent additions to this rifle. The light is only mounted when needed, primarily for situations where some of the pests that trouble the chickens only appear after dark. The contour of the stock causes the light's beam to not run exactly parallel to the barrel, but the beam is wide enough that it hasn't caused any issues so far. The Blackhawk Picatinny rail attaches to the extra sling stud typically used for a bipod. Its origin is unknown, as it was found in a random box of accessories in the garage, and it seems that Blackhawk no longer manufactures them. However, GG&G offers a similar adapter. The Silencer Co-Sparrow, one of the best suppressors for .22 rifles when it was purchased 9 years ago, remains a popular choice today. The basic design of the suppressor has remained largely unchanged over the years. It adds just 6.5 ounces to the rifle's weight, and when paired with subsonic ammunition, it makes the rifle incredibly quiet, so much so that it's probably quieter than a staple gun. While suppressed bolt-action and lever-action rifles are generally quieter than semi-autos of the same caliber, the difference is minimal in .22s. The difference in noise level would likely only be noticeable when very close to the rifle. However, bolt actions do offer a slight advantage in terms of accuracy for the cost. The rifle seems to perform especially well with ELA 38 grain subsonic hollow points. During a recent shooting session, the first 5 shot group using this load measured 0.75 inch at 50 yards, with 4 of the 5 rounds touching each other. This is impressive accuracy for a budget-level rifle. While a semi-auto might deliver similar accuracy, it would likely require additional modifications, especially for entry-level models. When taking down pests in the backyard, a clean, one-shot kill is crucial, so headshots are almost always the goal. The rifle has consistently delivered that accuracy, making it reliable for these tasks. The only real downside to this setup is the weight. The rifle originally weighed about 5.2 pounds, but with all the added components, it now weighs 8.7 pounds when fully loaded. This weight is quite hefty for a rimfire rifle. If it were necessary to carry the rifle for long periods, especially in the woods, a lighter option would be preferable. However, for the intended use, the weight is not a significant issue. In summary, this setup fits the definition of a practical rifle, as it accomplishes the intended tasks efficiently while also being enjoyable to use. With the addition of a bipod, it could easily serve as a tool for teaching new shooters, especially those who are nervous or inexperienced. Overall, it's a versatile and useful firearm. If anyone has their own version of a practical rifle tailored to their needs, it would be interesting to hear about it in the comments.